So today I just want to make this short video. I hope it's going to be short. Just to appreciate a few guys that have contributed in my life, especially when I was still coming up. Most of them, they contributed positively to the person that you know today as Papandu. I didn't make myself. I'm not self-made. I was made by people, and I always make sure to mention some of them whenever I speak. And I also want to encourage you to do the same. It's always nice to encourage people by telling them how much they mean to you and what contribution they made in your life. We must stop this thing of appreciating people when they are dead. We must make sure that we tell them while they are still alive, while they still can hear you saying those nice things. It's encouraging. It says to them, their work was not in vain, their contribution was not in vain. So that's what I want to do, and I'm hoping to trigger this thing so that everyone get used to doing it. One of the people I want to start with, actually he's late now, is my dad, but he's late. He passed away in 2019. My father contributed, besides him contributing with his genes, he also contributed by making sure that in his car, the only music we listened to back then when we were still coming up was gospel music. He used to buy a lot of local gospel music, and I used to know these songs by heart, all of them. Some of them I still know them word for word till this day. Then there's a guy who also, I will always cherish. His name is Pastor Veli Masego. I want you guys to know this guy because this is the guy who introduced me to the keyboard. He was not a keyboard player himself. He knew a few chords, but he showed me those few chords. Pastor Veli Masego, I appreciate you. I acknowledge you. You are the one who actually introduced me to the keyboard because that's where everything started. Then it was Pastor Silo, and it's pastors you can actually see. Frederick Silo was the first pastor of Apostolic Faith Mission in Ganyamazane. This one also knew a few chords, and he would always allow me, I remember, to come to his house to learn, and also even at his church, because that's where I was playing, they would allow me to make mistakes and they would encourage me. Then he also invited Percy Ingle. That's Pastor Silo. Percy Ingle also came in and actually held me by his hand. I always appreciate Percy Ingle. He's my friend, he's my brother, but we come a long way. So he also contributed. Then the mighty Fagazi Dlamini. This one I must always emphasize, because when he came in, he took me, I became his son. He did everything for me. He would buy every CD I wanted. By then there were CDs. I would say James Cleveland he would buy. This album, the Gospel Music Workshop of America he would buy. Shelley Caesar would buy. Tremaine Hawkins he would buy. All this, what's his name? Andre Crouch. He bought everything we wanted. Bought the instruments for us. I remember that the very first time, having a birthday party. Well, it was not a big thing, but a small party. But where I received gifts, he's the one who actually did that for me. Bought clothes for me. We come from, very humble backgrounds, So he spent a lot of money on us. It was myself and a very big group of other young people that we subscribed under him. We were his children. I was the favorite. I always say that I was his favorite. I believe I'm still his favorite, even though he's got his own kids. But I'm the big brother. Then the late Tami Ngwenya. I don't know where to start. Tami Ngwenya was a young guy, younger than me. He was a singer. We used to sing with him, but he could also play. But one thing about Tami, he had an ear. We remember back then we would try to figure out the chords by hearing, by listening, try to figure them out. So I would stay the whole night with Tami, trying to figure out chords, because we had to prepare songs for the choir, myself and him. So he contributed. Then It was Big Fish Makhabane. Bob Makhabane is the first guy to ever introduce me to ever introduce me to a recording studio. I remember that that gig was supposed to go to Percy, but Percy was unavailable, and Percy said, "No, take this young boy." Well, I was not young because me and Percy are the same age, but yeah, we were young. So I went with Bob Makhabane for, I think it was his third album or second album, somewhere there, to play. I was, okay, well, he was not as big as now, but he was already an established artist. So we went, I played on his second album or third album, and we became friends from there. There's a lot I can say about things that I've learned from the Big Fish Makhabane, even about how to relate with people, and subject for another day. Then there was a guy called Pastor Nsika. You can actually see that there's a lot of pastors in my musical lineage. Pastor Nsika also contributed greatly. He's actually the one person who brought me to Church on the Hill, and I used to stay at his house. We would watch videos, music videos, and live shows together. He was a bassist, I was the keyboard player. I would figure out songs together. I can write a book about him as well. Then Sam Ndlovu. Where do I start with Prasem? Prasem, the disciplinarian. Prasem, with Prasem, I hope you know Sam Ndlovu, the lead singer for Stimela. Sam Ndlovu is one guy who is a perfectionist. When you work with Sam, you must know your story. He's a perfectionist. If you are a drummer, you must know what you are doing. Why did you do what you did? If you're gonna roll, why are you doing that roll? Why? What are you trying to, signify or try to accentuate or whatever? If you make a mistake on stage, you must know that whole trip, whether you're coming from Cape Town to Nelspruit, that whole trip, you will be explaining to him why you made that mistake. He's such a disciplinarian. And I'm happy because he helped me a lot to be disciplined, to respect. Because I don't like a musician that doesn't respect somebody's song. Before you can want to change it, try to play it the way it is and then add whatever you want to add, than to completely. I remember one guy said to me, I said, "Hey, doctor, I want to work with you. There's a gig and I need a bassist." And he said, "Yeah, I've always wanted to work with you because there's this one song that I want to change the groove." Oh man, we haven't even rehearsed one day. You already want to change my groove. That was it. So Prasem was such a guy. And Prasem, I also appreciate him for introducing me to the late Steve Kekana, because when they needed a keyboard player, they had a tour to Zimbabwe. He said, "No, take this young man." And that experience, was great. I learned a lot from Steve, just by traveling with him. And then, obviously, the Apostle Lipoko, Apostle MVG Lipoko, my father. I don't even know what to say. Because Apostle took me in and I became his son. I'm not saying his spiritual son, his son. Like, I stayed in his house, paid for my school fees, bought clothes for me, cooked food for me, drove me to school. When I was doing matric, he would drive me to school every day in the morning and fetch me in the evening. The school would finish at 10 in the evening. Apostle would wait for me. Not only they took me to, music production school, allowed me to open my studio in the church, not paying any cent in terms of rent and running the studio there. Apostle has attended all my shows, every show that I've ever organized. Apostle and Mother O, they've attended all my shows, all of them. All my shows, they've been there. It doesn't matter whether they were tired coming from another event, they will still come and they will stay until the last song. When I released my first album, even the sleeve, I had to say, "Apostle," I still do that even today. "Apostle, what do you think about this artwork? Do you think it will work?" Songs, I bounce them by him. "Apostle, what do you think about this title? Is it perfect for the song, or should I change it?" That's how close me and him are. You know, Mjakes, I won't leave Mjakes Tebe behind. My brother Mjakes, we've shared a lot of ideas together. Mjakes is a very, Mjakes also needs a book. You can write a book. Mjakes Tebe, I did my first album with him, but besides that, we were already tied, me and him. There's a lot. He's my consultant. I always phone him about music related issues, and he has helped me a lot. So is my brother Theo Matiki. I think he goes by the name Genesis on Facebook. Theo is also a person who contributed. I don't know if he knows that, but we have shared a lot of ideas with him, and especially how to market the music. And he's one of the guys who believed in me, And I'm saying these are not the only people, but these are the people who come to mind now as I'm doing this video. I'm still going to thank other people because it's always nice to appreciate people.